Welcome to Make Sylacauga Healthy Again. I'm your host, Dr. Jonathan Douglas. Today we're talking about autism. This is something you're going to hear about. If you don't hear about it a lot right now, you're going to hear about it more. It's more prevalent than we've ever seen. 25 years in practice, I see more kids now that have autism than we ever have. It's everywhere. You should hear about it. You should think about it, and our community needs to really rally around it. We're going to talk to some people who are trying to make that happen in Sylacauga. Stay tuned. I have special guests with me today. I have Ravin and Sarah Lee.
Hey.
And we talk a lot on this show about people stepping up in the community and finding a way to help, because what I hear is somebody should do something or they aren't doing enough. And I always say, well, why can't you be the they?
Yes.
What made the two of you become the they?
It's actually started with myself. You know, I was talking to Corporal Tate. She does our Project Lifesaver bands, and we were just like, man, we just want something more for the community. Well, then we started slowly just bringing people to a meeting. I was just like, I want to throw an event to try to group us all together so I can meet people who have the same interest and passion that I do. Well, that's whenever we met some people, such as Stacy Fleeman, we met with Corporal Tate, Brian Ton introduced me to Ravin, thank goodness, and you know, it slowly also with Gaines ABA, you know, everybody came together and we made that happen. So it was just a passion to start something, because like you said, everybody's like, why aren't we doing anything? And I've even gotten that since we have started this program, is that everybody's like, well, so-and-so does that, and so-and-so does that. What makes you different? Well, because I'm doing it for here. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it different, is that, right. You know, you can't just rely on everybody. It's a big thing, and everybody should be involved.
Absolutely. Ravin, what is the Sylacauga Autism Initiative?
Sylacauga Autism Initiative is a group of community leaders, business owners, and friends that have come together to bring awareness to our city of Sylacauga, and in the future to branch out to bring in other rural areas, to share resources, information, education, and to just build our community and bring awareness to what autism is and how as a community we can come together to change.
I love that. And what we see in the office, and we talked about this a little bit before the show, we see that people don't have any idea what a day looks like if you have an autistic child. Oh. And there are different ranges, of course. I mean, there are some that don't have many. It would look almost like a regular day, right? And then there's some who have severe limitations, and you start off on the run. So what does a day look like for someone who has an autistic child? It's different for everyone, but in general.
Yes. You know, you wake up and the first thing you wonder is if your child's eating enough, you know, because they usually have restrictive diets. My son has a texture disorder. You know, he gags on a lot of food. Mm-hmm. Luckily, he does like the water, so you're good on that, Dr. Douglas. Good. So, I mean, then there's tantrums and meltdowns. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand sensory process. When they think sensory, they think of touch or sound. Well, when you feel an emotion is a feeling. Mm-hmm. That's a sensory. Mm-hmm. You know, your brain processes how you feel. When you're scared, your heart races. When you're happy, your heart races. When you're sad, you cry. And so your body naturally reacts to those emotions, and sensory-wise also. So when you have those meltdowns, it affects more than just behavior-wise. It's an actual physical condition for these individuals.
Yeah, it can be isolation too. Not that you are ashamed of your child, but you want to shield them. I know in the community, because we're in the South, you know, if your child is having a meltdown, if, as we say, in the store, they'll say, oh, that child is bad, they need a whooping, they're not disciplining their child. And I think we have to be careful about that, because being a mother, being a father, or a family with a child with autism, it's not that simple. No. You really got to have a lot of patience. the children go to therapy throughout the day. You're sacrificing work, whether I should go to work or be here for my child. You're making the sacrifices where one person is doing all the work and the other one may have to stay home. It's grandparents pitching in, aunts and uncles pitching in. It takes a village when you have a child with autism or any type of special needs. So I think we have to
add
be
to
careful.
that, a lot of folks don't have a village. Some
That's
people
true
have
too.
family
That is
who
the
just
truth.
don't accept that. Some people have friends who aren't understanding. And to add to the corporal punishment or, the whoopings, you can't just whoop an autistic child or one with any kind of learning disability, because in their mind, all they learn is, when I'm angry, because mommy's angry, she hits me. When I'm angry, I'm going to hit. Well, what happens when my son turns 16 and he's bigger than I am, or he's bigger than anybody? Then he becomes a threat to the public. And that's why awareness is key, because people need to understand that there is an approach, that this is a real thing that, requires awareness and resolution at the same time. And I think that's really what drives us, because there's not enough support from family, friends, and not enough awareness in the community to do that.
What's been the reception in the community to your initiative?
Great. So far, we a lot of folks love the event and they want to see us working to do more, which we are planning some things, but our first primary thing is to get the nonprofit going. But everybody has loved it. We've gotten some great feedback and ideas of what people want from the community. And we plan to partner with people in places such as the rec, such as the city council eventually, and, just to talk about things. When planning as Sylacauga grows, it should include special needs, so it's like when we build a park, there should be some kind of fencing or some kind of sensory access point there. It should not be added later. It should be at the beginning. And that's what our goal is to be a part of the growth of Sylacauga.
Yeah, I think that's great. And we're very lucky. I don't think people realize it, but our Parks and Rec program is amazing.
They're
Yes,
fantastic.
they're fantastic.
It
I
really
They
think
are.
Lauren does some great stuff, and I look forward to having a chance to sit with her to talk about more things to do in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, that resource is very unusual for a small town. It really is. And
Yes.
Lauren is so great at that. And Steve
Yes, she
too.
is.
The library also. I don't think people realize. Now, I grew
Yes.
up around the library because Tara's mom was the director for 38 years or something. So, I mean, I've been around this.
Yes.
But that library, if people don't realize it, has a lot of resources
Yes.
available
They
too.
have they have sensory
Sensory
items that you can check out. A lot of sensory items are big ticket items. They cost a lot of money, and so whenever you want to buy that, you're like, would my child even use this? You could check it out from the library for 2 weeks first, and then be like, this is worth the investment, or it's not for us. And that's great, especially when a lot of people with a spectrum child have a financial burden that most families don't, for medical bills, for the loss of income because the parent has to stay home because daycares won't take your child, or whatever your situation may be. It has its burdens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do we get the message out to the community?
Well, we want to thank you for platforms such as this, Mr. Jimmy Dale, and we want to thank Library Connections for having us. But follow us on our Sylacauga Autism Initiative Facebook page. Message us if you see us out. I'm sure today we'll wear our shirts. Don't hesitate to walk up to us and ask us how you can get involved. You can email us at autismsylacauga@gmail.com. And just get involved, whether it's volunteering, sharing your story, however you can. Just join us and help us bring awareness to our great city of Sylacauga.
As a final thing for this segment, I don't think people have any idea how many people deal with this in our small community. So do you have any kind of estimate, probably not exact estimate, of course, but I mean, how many people, rural area, I never really thought about rural area, but I mean, it's the same there as it is in the city. You think about the city because you see people and we see patients, but
Yes.
rural area, I mean, how many people in Sylacauga? We've got 12,000 people supposedly, in this area, and then
For our event,
The school system, I think you have some numbers, right?
For the school system, when we went to the series of the city, the education portion, we found out, if I'm quoting this correctly, it's between 16% to 18% is special needs, but we're not sure what number is autism out of that percentage. But statistically, we know 1 in 31 children, that's the statistic for autism. So I'm not sure of the exact number, but with our sign-up sheet that we had at our event, we had over 100 parents sign that list that brought their children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. So I would say we have a large amount, and that's not including the people that did not attend.
Or do not know that they need a diagnosis.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
another
absolutely.
thing that we
Yeah.
have to, we want to advocate for, is because a lot of time, especially if you're a first-time parent like myself, you're just kind of in that denial zone. You're just like, oh, he's just delayed. Every child's different. But then you start noticing when you go to parks or you go to play dates or school, and you're just like, that kid does way different things than mine does.
Yeah.
And some people, it's okay to be paced, but intervention's the key. And that's what our mission is because these are individuals who are going to grow up, and we want people to be getting their children the help they need to give them the fullest life possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.